Happy Halloween and welcome to Rogers Arena in Edmonton. Edmonton, a huge comeback win against Montreal on Thursday, down 3-0 after one and came back to win 4-3. Calgary lost last night 6-2 to Montreal in search of their third win of the season. Dave Randorf and Craig Simpson with the call tonight, but first the national anthem on Halloween night on Hockey Night in Canada.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise, remove your hats, and join Robert Clark with the singing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patient love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Welcome to Rexall Place. Well, I'm sure most of the trick-or-treating is done by now in Canada, so let's break out some of that candy and enjoy what should be a real treat tonight, because this Battle of Alberta rivalry is showing signs of rising from the dead. What a month of October it's been for Kari Ramo. He got a starting assignment on opening night, then he was put on waivers, then sent to the minors, and now he's back, thrust back into the Saturday night spotlight here in Edmonton. Down to the other end, Cam Talbot makes his fourth consecutive start. He allowed 3 first-period goals on Thursday night and then shut the door as the Oilers roared back to beat the Habs. This town is still buzzing about that, and they're still buzzing about this guy. 18-year-old Connor McDavid, who comes into the night tied for 5th in NHL scoring and on a 7-game point streak. Dave Randorf with you alongside Craig Simpson for chapter number 2 of this season's Battle of Alberta. The Edmonton Oilers trying to win back-to-back games. The Calgary Flames, Craig, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, in some ways, good thing for the Flames to be right back at it the next night. A difficult game last night on home ice, but some great energy here in the building tonight. Jean Hébert, Dean Morton are the referees. Von Rode and Steve Miller are the linesmen. The Oilers wearing their throwback jerseys tonight, and this the final season of this great old barn, Rexall Place. Sent into the Oilers zone, and the Flames going to work right away. Joe Colborne back to the line. Giordano with a shot, and that is knocked down in front and skated away by the Oilers. Here comes Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. His shot is right on the mark, and Ramo makes his first stop of the night. Yeah, that's a really important one. You think of the opportunity now here for Ramo, the disappointment he had being sent down to the minors, the problem having 3 goaltenders in the system right now, but he has an absolute gem of an opportunity to show Bob Hartley that he can be the guy. Connor McDavid wins that draw cleanly back to Darnell Nurse. Another recent call-up for this Oilers roster that has been ravaged by injury of late. Nurse called up along with Leon Draisaitl. And this one goes all the way down the ice for icing against Edmonton. Well, you think of the future of the Oilers is now, and Connor McDavid on that 7-game point streak has really gotten his game to a comfortable level. He looks very comfortable in his skin. He's been able to dominate at times during games. And on the back end, Darnell Nurse getting his 3rd game, and he's played well coming up from Bakersfield. Squaring off with his face-off against a guy he grew up playing with, Sam Bennett, who was waved out of the face-off circle. David Jones comes in to take it.
And Jones wins it cleanly. Back to T.J. Brodie. Bennett giving a shove down, and the Oilers take over. With possession of the puck, they start out. This is Nail Yakupov, who, oh, by the way, also has a 7-game point streak, along with McDavid.
Well, this line is really starting to click together. And you think of the pressure on McDavid as the #1 all pick, the pressure coming in to be a franchise player. The first 4 games, he went the first 2 without getting a point. I thought he handled it very well, but through the last 7, he's been really the catalyst for this Oiler team as they try to turn the corner and get their game up to par.
Oilers again control off the draw. That is shoveled into the flame zone by Eric Greimer. Ramo, in his recent trip down to the AHL in Stockton, only played 1 period in relief of John Gillies. Here's Josh Turris with a shot off the base of the net, centers it out in front, and Andrew Ferentz, the former Calgary Flame once upon a time, was there to clear it out. Here's Derek England banking it off the boards. Michael Frolik trying to send it in, but Anton Slepyshev meets him along the side boards. Now Ferentz will go back after it. For Ferentz, this is just his 5th game in a new reduced role for the guy who was wearing the C last season. Pushed up to the blue line, and there is Mark Letestu to Brendan Davidson, number 88. Scored a big goal on Thursday night against Montreal to tie it. In the 3rd period, here's Mason Raymond now. Raymond up high in the zone, drops it off for Brodie. Brodie, first shot, tip, scores! And Calgary opens it up. 1-0, a tip right in front by Brendan Bollig.
Well, this is exactly what the Calgary Flames were looking for. They're in a position to try to get something positive to build on early on, and it's a turnover outside the defensive blue line by the Oilers. And the Calgary Flames, nice drive down low by Raymond, shot to the middle, and great positioning out high in the slot. You see the little tap-tap in the high slot. T.J. Brodie with his head up, shot gets by Gazdic, and there's an excellent tip that Talbot had no chance whatsoever. Look at the tap of the stick there as Bollig wanted that one, and he had great hand-eye and got a piece of it.
Brendan Bollig with his first goal of the season, first point of the season. Brodie and Raymond are going to draw the assists at the 158 mark, and that is big news for the Calgary Flames, the team that has really needed momentum in their recent slide. Sent back in there, and it's swept across. This is Klefbom, who finishes the job and puts it in deep. All the way around the boards, met by the Flames captain. Tries to get it out. Second effort does get out to center. Andre Sekera now. Lead pass and pushed in there by Draisaitl. Ramo will stop it up in behind his net. Dennis Wideman, as Cassie Campbell Pasto mentioned, now paired with Giordano. Here's Hall. Hall shoots, saves, rebound, batted down, but to the line. Darnell Nurse goes down low, under front for Yakupov, and he couldn't get the one-timer away. All the way down, chasing after it is Jones. There's Nurse trying to handle him. Jones pivots away, centers it out in front, and the shot is corralled by Talbot.
Well, you saw the turnover there by the Edmonton Oilers that ended up in the back of the net. Calgary does the exact same thing, an opportunity to get off the ice, a turnover. Hall's coming back, gets himself onside, and an early save for Kari Ramo to settle him into the game, too. Hall thought he had some room over the glove. Instead, Ramo came out and made a great save early.
Jones, 3 goals in the season for him, 2 against Edmonton in the first meeting. Little wraparound attempt there. Out of the corner, here's Brodie, dancing in. Brodie, backhander, Talbot the save. Rebound, trying to skim it in front. It's between the pads, and Talbot finally gets a whistle.
What a play by T.J. Brodie there, and the Battle of Alberta always has a bit of is this. Some scrums at the end of the whistles. Drive into the front of the net, all 10 players right around the Edmonton net. Nail Yakupov looks like he's going to go off for a penalty. But T.J. Brodie just getting back into shape, getting back on the blue line for the Calgary Flames. And watch his point man, his coverage is Pouliot. He's got to watch his defenseman. Pouliot staring at the puck, doesn't see it. Brodie jumps in, makes an excellent play. And this is a tough one for Talbot as he's battling bodies in front. He has no idea where the puck is. And it was there for a second between his legs. And he got coincidental penalties here. as it'll be 4-4, a couple of roughs. The Calgary Flames, the year, Dave, it's been, they have not been able to get their game going offensively, averaging just 2 goals a game, and there was a chance for the first time this year to get a 2-goal lead, something they just have not been able to get.
And on the other side of that, they've been giving up a ton of goals. Right now, they got themselves a 1-0 lead on the goal by Brandon Bollig. The two guys in the box, Yakupov and Gaudreau, gone for roughing.
That was an anxious moment for Talbot, too. He had no idea that the puck was in between his legs, and fortunately was able to hold on.
Room to escape. Hall comes in there. Following up was Nugent Hopkins, and now Joe Colborne comes away with it. Colborne has scored the other night. Last night for the Flames in their loss to Montreal. Across to Dennis Wideman. Wideman's pass goes across, back to Colborne. Colborne steps in there, centers it, went off the skates of Klefbom and into the corner. Sean Monahan up on the forecheck, taken away by Nugent Hopkins. Long lead pass for Hall. Hall steps in, tries to cut into the middle. Following up again was the Nuge, and it bounced off his stick. Here's Backlund. Backlund curls back, throws it back to Brody, who's dancing already tonight. On his back edge, shovels it in there, looking for Chris Russell. He was tied up just enough by Nugent Hopkins.
You think of the strength of this Flames team last year was their defense. They all four, their top 4D had career years, and here early, they're jumping in the play.
And they're pushing Backlund with a drive, and a good glove stop by Talbot.
Well, 4-on-4 hockey, you want to make sure as a forward you don't get caught up the ice. Defense will go. Here's Taylor Hall, sees Wideman in there. He's fortunate not to get a little hook with that stick in the midsection. And then again, a drive deep. The defenseman activating again as Russell goes down, pressures the defense back, opens up the lane, and there's an excellent save. Not only making the save, but holding on and not allowing a rebound by Talbot.
Mark Letestu, who was excellent. 12 of 14 in the faceoff circle on Thursday night against Montreal, wins another one. McDavid starts to wind it up, throws it across to Nurse, who can also fly. He's in. Darnell Nurse. Angled wide, going to take a trip around the net. Still with a puck on his stick is Nurse. All the way around the edge, banks it back into the corner for McDavid. McDavid steps out, high slot, look out, tries to release the shot, fanned on it, and here is Sean Monahan. 20 seconds to go on the 4-on-4, which has seen a couple of rushes back and forth. Monahan picks his way in, drops it off, Giordano with a drive, off of Talbot and up and over the net. Mark Letestu carries in, blasts a rocket slap shot just past the glove side of Ramos. Penalized players back on the ice. 5-on-5 resumes, sent back in on Ramos, who kicks it aside. And Tom Lander up there with Letestu. Giordano trying to pin his man. It's worked around the boards. Handled by Ferris, who sends it right back in. Over 5 minutes gone in this first period. Out of the corner now is Gazdic. Gazdic goes back to Ferris. His drive into traffic. Oilers trying to find it in the skates, but instead it's on the stick of TJ Brodie. And the Flames step in. Bennett gets the puck back, shoots, and there's a good shot block there by Andrew Ferris. Bennett back with a puck. Flames starting to cycle off of the high slot. Johnny Gaudreau's got it on his strings, going to step back in. Here's Gaudreau. Spins it out in front, and it goes right past Hamilton. Takes it off the board, puts it into the corner. Bennett in tight, and Talbot reaches down and covers up with that line buzzing for the Flames. Try to add to a 1-0 lead on the goal scored by Bollig on Hockey Night in Canada.
Mark Giordano, no doubt we'll see a lot of Connor McDavid tonight. He makes a nice defensive play in the defensive zone. He also saw a lot of Connor McDavid in the summer. The two were part of a group, including John Tavares, PK Subban, Jason Spezza, and Taylor Hall, who scrimmaged on Wednesday nights together in Streetsville, Ontario. Giordano said he was a really quiet kid, but even in those scrimmages, you could tell he was going to be quite the player. Dave?
That's the reaction that's coming from a lot of NHLers right now when they get their first look at Connor here in the NHL. Play in the neutral zone, and it's chopped back in by the Oilers. Derek Engelland back to get it, moves it, or tried to move it to Hamilton. Instead, it's turned over. Teddy Purcell puts it down low, picked up by Michael Frolik. And back out the center and backing up is Klefbom. Earthbomb is amongst the league leaders in shot blocks. Backing up now with Brandon Bolig's long-range shot, kicked aside by Cam Talbot. Flames on that puck again, centering it tipped. Broken up by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Lead pass for Nugent-Hopkins, who steps in. His wrist shot off the stick of Brodie and up and out of play.
Well, last year's Coach of the Year, Bob Hartley, I'm sure never expected to have to go through the amount of coaching he's had in this early going. And you think about all the good things they did last year, you can't look in the past. He's totally looking forward and trying to get his team back to that level. The cornerstone of their team last year was their work ethic. And it's hard to get back to that level instantaneously, but he feels like they're coming.
Good start tonight. That puck is not held by Sekera. Here's Leon Draisaitl, who was the hero on Thursday night, scoring the game-winning goal with 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining in that game, and that great comeback against Montreal. That was after he got up at 3:30 in the morning from the call-up from Bakersfield, California. Lead pass up for Jiri Hudler. Hudler throws this across. Open man in front was Monahan. They couldn't get the pass to him. Banked up ahead to Hall. Hall kicks it up to his stick, cuts in, shoots, and Ramo makes that stop. Puck goes into the corner for Draisaitl. Here's Hall now, picking it up. Trying to throw it back out, and it bounces right to Colbert. And at the end of the shift, Jiri Hudler just lifts that one up and in.
What you see early on here is how active the Calgary defense are, and you saw a great example there how quickly Giordano got back after trying to jump up offensively. For the Oilers, you try to take advantage of those aggressive pinches and create some odd man rushes.
Chris Russell. So there's a pass that ends up with Gaudreau, and he taps it to Bennett. Bennett stepping in, and he was double-teamed. Benoit Pouliot broke it up, and here's another drive off the stick of Gaudreau, high and wide. Nail Yakupov comes out with McDavid. Toe drags in over the line, throws it in for McDavid. That backhand goes wide of the net. Benoit Pouliot, the third member of this hot line for the Oilers, was up on that rush as well. Here's Brodie, drops it off for Gaudreau. Gaudreau cutting in, couldn't get a shot away. Drops it off, and Stajan had it teed up. Finally, it's pushed out by Edmonton. Here's Teddy Purcell now. Purcell cutting in, looking for some late help. Back to the line, clip bomb on the drive, and that's wide. Stick side. Slepyshev. Pinned there by Stajan. Calgary comes up with the puck and moves it out to center ice. Josh Juris searching for that puck up in the air, and that is offside of the line. Well, Monday night, romance is heating things up on the drama This Life. Don't miss an all-new episode Monday at 9 on CBC.
One thing Todd McLellan has talked about a lot with this team is playing a 200-foot game, and here's an example. Top line offensively, Pouliot comes back hard, puts his head down, and gets in position in a place where he can lift the stick and take away a good scoring chance. Good back pressure there by Pouliot.
Hasn't been a bad start for Todd McLellan, all things considered. A lot of new faces, a lot of young faces. They've already had a 3-game win streak in this young season.
It'll be really interesting tonight, though. I think they felt they sleptwalked through the first period against Montreal, and to give up that early goal, it's really important to see a pushback here. It's been pretty even since. You know that Calgary's going to be desperate with the way that last night went for them.
Michael Backlund trying to step in over the line, puts it into the corner. There's Darnell Nurse. Phil Raymond coming, got the puck away to Sekera. Andre Sekera, the free agent signing in the offseason for the Oilers. After playing last season with Carolina and LA.
When it comes to great tasting sausage, there's no name and no place quite like Johnsonville. Great sausage comes from here.
Well, part of the growth for Todd McLellan is to just have trust in his players. And one thing he was saying is, I trust their work ethic. So there's not a question of a night by night where the team's not going to show up. It's the question of their execution. And that's what you try to build as a new coach with a new organization. Trying to shape these guys into the way that Todd McLellan wants them to play.
Spent the last 7 seasons with the San Jose Sharks. Their winningest coach in franchise history.
Completely different offseason for him, too, preparing with a new team. He's been said it was a good experience going through that again.
Fuller's pass is broken up and immediately turned back by Hall. Hall gets it away to Draisaitl. Back to Taylor Hall. His shot blocked right in front. Following up is Nugent Hopkins. Trying to get it to Davidson. He'll push it into the corner. Draisaitl into the corner for Nugent Hopkins. Here's Hall. Hall spinning around. Taking a look back towards the net. Lots of traffic there. Draisaitl bangs that backhander just wide. Nugent Hopkins trying to center it off a skate and down the ice. Klefbom hustles after it. Flames complete a change on the fly. Sam Bennett out there on the forecheck. Forcing Yakupov wide, and he turns it up. Here's Nail Yakupov. Connor McDavid trying to keep it in. Pouliot is support as well. Yakupov back to Pouliot, and he couldn't get a good shot away. Past the midway point of a fast-moving first. Here's David Jones. His shot is kicked out by Talbot. Pouliot goes across. Off the stick of Gaudreau back inside the Edmonton blue line.
A great matchup there with those two lines as they trade chances. You can see just the speed of both those lines to be able to turn a turnover into a chance and an odd man rush it the other way.
Talbot gave it up, and it's into net. Michael Frolik makes it 2-0 Calgary.
Boy, you can see Talbot's reaction there, yelling at himself. This is one that just gets caught up into his feet. This Todd McLellan, what can you write down that will make that one any better? It was a seemingly easy play. And one, as a defenseman, do you go right for the puck? Well, no, you read that your goaltender's going to have it, but it comes off the wall, and you can see into the feet of Talbot. He tried to kick it back, but he kicked it past his skate, and then he knew he was in big trouble. Hard to fault the defenseman or even Connor McDavid there coming back. But for Frolik, a wide-open net off of a nice feed by Stajan, but the mistake made by the goaltender.
Scoring has been an issue for Calgary. They've been averaging 2 goals a game. Well, they got 2 already, and for the first time all season, the Calgary Flames have a 2-goal lead.
Well, I'm sure Bob Hartley couldn't have drawn it up any better with coming into a building that knew it would be a tough game. The Oilers coming off an emotional comeback win, and nothing's really gone right here for Edmonton. And a couple of good plays have given the Flames that 2-0 lead.
And for Michael Frolik, that is his first goal as a member of the Flames. And Matt Stajan gets his first point as well, drawing an assist. And now they've given it up again. Here's Backlund. Backlund in deep, being watched by Sekera. Throws it back to the line, and that gets away from Englund. Slepyshev is racing after it, so Ramo came way out and almost had Bollig on the long bend pass.
Okay, this is a good test for Talbot, though. You can't take that one back. So what you have to do as a goaltender is just show your players that you're going to shut the door from now on. As you mentioned against the Montreal Canadiens, once they got 3, the door was shut. And I think that's the mentality, the battle back mentality that you have to have.
Luke Gagsick up in the forecheck. Chris Russell moves the puck around the boards to Raymond. Letestu chops at it, but Raymond is there again. Following up is Backlund. Backlund gets to the line and dumps it in. Picked up by Davidson. Second game in a row, the Oilers have dug themselves a first-period hole on home ice. This one against their provincial rivals.
And you look at 5 shots with 13 minutes gone in the first period. That's not something on home ice that Todd McLellan will be happy about.
Draisaitl wide, tries to throw it across. That's off a stick and up and out of play. So the Calgary Flames get one from Bollig, then they get a bit of a gift, but they will take it. They're up 2-0 on Hockey Night in Canada.
Sam Bennett and Connor McDavid played 7 years together in minor hockey, 2 with the Toronto Marlboros and 5 with York Simcoe Express. They also won gold together with under-18 Team Canada. They played 3 games in the OHL against one another as they chatted in the warm-up. Sam Bennett actually got the better of McDavid in those 3 games. 7 points and a +4 compared to 4 points and an even rating for McDavid. Their parents live about 10 minutes apart in Newmarket. It's their first battle of Alberta playing each other as NHLers, as Bennett missed the last game due to an injury. Dave?
Just another intriguing element of this battle of Alberta going forward. Here's Nugent Hopkins, scores! Nugent Hopkins with a shot. Taylor Hall with the tip, and it's 2-1.
One of the intriguing storylines with these two teams is they both struggle in the faceoff dot. The Calgary Flames 29th in the league at 46.9, and here's a one draw, a little bit of a kickoff into the corner, and for Taylor Hall, just good position. We saw the Bollig tip earlier on. This one goes through the legs and right off the stick and underneath the arm of Kari Ramo. Just a second delay there as Giordano tries to get over to box out, can't get there, and Hall able to get just enough of that puck to get it underneath the arm of Ramo.
So Taylor Hall with a goal, his 5th of the season already, and that is now a 5-game point streak for him. And it gets the Oilers on the board and back within 1. Nugent Hopkins with another assist. He's up to 8 points. And Leon Draisaitl is also going to draw an assist after his 2-goal performance on Thursday night. Here's Yakupov. His wrist shot off of Russell. In behind the net, pushed out in front. Oh, the man open in front was Pouliot. They could not get the pass to him.
Goes for by Hall. The assist. Nugent Hopkins.
Nurse backs up. Gets it to Sekera. Back to Darnell Nurse, who picked up his first NHL goal earlier this week in a game in Minnesota. Backed off the inboards to TJ Brodie. Let's see whose move it is next. And that is called at the Edmonton blue line. So the lead has been trimmed to 1. Taylor Hall strikes with his 5th here at Edmonton. There's 6 minutes to go here in the first period. 3 goals on the board so far, Craig.
Well, early on, the Flames get exactly what they needed. A little boost. Bollig in the high slot with a beautiful tip. A little misdirection there as Talbot can't control an easy dump in as he misplays it. Frolik gets his first, and then Taylor Hall on the doorstep makes this a 1-goal game and brings this some energy back into this building.
Now 3 goals and 4 assists in a 5-game streak for Taylor Hall. Sent back into the Edmonton zone. There is Ference. Shovels it back to Greiba. Tries to keep it moving into the corner. Greiba was contending there with Michael Frolik. Slepyshev, the rookie, puts it to the open side. Bodies collide. Josh Juris is up there, and again it's dug back. Here's Eric Greiba, the former Ottawa Senator. Stajan bumped off the puck. Goes up in the air, pulled down by Frolik, who just shovels it in and heads to the bench for a change. Frolik leans into Ference. Oilers having all kinds of trouble moving the puck up the ice right now. And now they just give it away to the Flames D and Brodie and Russell. Here's TJ Brodie. For Brodie, this is his 3rd game after suffering a hand injury in the preseason. And that puck is up and into the netting behind Cam Talbot.
One thing about the slow start for the Calgary Flames, you can look to their defense. Last year, the top 4D, all with career years offensively, TJ Brodie and Mark Giordano had such a great pairing. Here early on, a collective -41 for the defense of the Calgary Flames. So really, they have a shocking start defensively for a team that was a good defensive club last year, right in the middle. And they just haven't been able to get it. A lot can be laid at the feet of the goaltenders as well. When your save percentage is .865 as a team, you know you're going to have trouble winning hockey games.
Well, you don't have to tell Chris Russell about that. Right now, he's wearing a -16 coming into action tonight. Dead last in the NHL.
And still blocking shots. 40 block shots. He's on a better pace than he was last year when he led the league.
And he's doing it again. Almost thought of coming into his net and playing that puck, then went right back into the crease. Pouliot got it back to Nurse. Here's Sekera. He'll step in. Sekera's shot weak and wide off of the inboards. Waits for the puck, centered, and alertly covered up by Kari Ramo.
Well, one guy that I think will really benefit, obviously playing with Connor McDavid, is Nail Yakupov. And when I watch Yakupov, what he likes to do is stop skating with the puck. And when you play with a guy like McDavid that has that breakaway speed, it forces you to get your legs moving. And he's found a pretty good home. Todd McClellan very happy with that line of Pouliot, Yakupov, and McDavid. And I think that speed forces him to play at a higher level.
Nurse stepped up to keep that puck in. Flames trying to work it up the boards. In support there is Brodin. His pass makes it out. Drops it off for Russell. Russell to center and in. Here's Jones hustling after it. Bennett comes in there as well. Puck goes into the corner. Draisaitl first to the puck and puts it near side for Nurse. Back out into the neutral zone. Here's Johnny Gaudreau, who came in tonight the league leader in assists. But that is offside of the line. Well, Rick flies in a legendary World War II Lancaster bomber on an all-new Rick Mercer report. That's Tuesday at 8 on CBC.
Dave, so much talk about the impact of Connor McDavid on the Edmonton Oilers. How about the impact of Johnny Gaudreau? What a year he had last year, and he's followed it up in spectacular fashion. No sophomore jinx for him. He's picked up right where he left off. Lots of confidence, controlling the game, and making plays.
7 assists in his last 6 games, and he's been in on both of the overtime game winners that Calgary has in their only 2 wins.
And I think for Bob Hartley, you're forced to make a change. That top trio for the Calgary Flames last year accounted for 36% of the goals. Well, here already, Kudler and Monahan and Gaudreau have accounted for 30, but you're a goal a game less than you were last year. And at some point, you got to make a change, and that's the Joe Colburn going to that line and Gaudreau going down.
Ramo pushed that into the corner. Josh Juris got it away, and it's flipped back out to center ice. All the way down where Ference hustles after it. He'll sweep it aside. And Juris works it back for Russell. Flames just took it over there. Russell in, scores! That was definitely redirected in front, and it's going to be Frolik again with his 2nd of the night. And it's back to a 2-goal lead.
And David, just another example of simple hockey. Think of how many times you give up a shot and throw it along the boards. Instead, Andrew Ference tries the dump around the boards. It's a yard sail down in the corner. Another opportunity to get it out, and this is just a wrist shot through a lane. And Frolik battling in front hard, gets a piece of it. There's a missed assignment there. Shlepasev is late to get there, and right off the right skate of Frolik and past Talbot. For Talbot, he's trying to find this puck through a crowd, and look at how deep he is. That deflection has lots of room. He's back further. Can't get a piece of it, but Frolik got a gift early on there, and he gets a deflection off his skate that they'll look at, but there was no kicking motion on that one.
Yeah, I think we've already seen a definitive look, but they are going to just double check.
And Dave, you think of that first goal was an excellent read by Brody with the little wrister through, and here's another example for you defensemen out there that want to get the big slap shot. That's not always the play. It's just a smart play by Russell that he finds the seam through the crowd. A battle going on in front between Davidson and Frolik. And a fortunate goal, but one that wouldn't have happened if the shot hadn't have made it through.
Kind of lackadaisical play by the Oilers leading up to that goal, too, wouldn't you say?
It's those turnovers, they're killing.
See what they got on this rush here. Here's Yakupov with some speed around the net. Cuts in, and Ramo guarding that far post. Shut the door there.
There's an example of Yakupov skating there. Right? So often last year when he had no confidence, he would just stop skating, start stick handling, and looking for plays. And his confidence level has grown. The opportunity to play on a line with McDavid should excite anybody, but I just think he's starting to become a player that they can trust at both ends of the ice, and his offensive game is starting to come back alive.
So it's Frolik from Russell and Josh Juris on that 3rd Calgary goal. Frolik with 2 here in this period, his first 2 as a Flame.
I think Todd McClellan and the coaching staff will be looking at the missed opportunities to get the puck out on both those deflection goals. Turnover at the offensive blue line ended up in the back of the net. A turnover down low and on the half wall ends up with another deflection.
Mark Giordano drifts this one down the ice, corralled by Darnell Nurse. Up to Hall. Hall's backhand attempt broken up by Backlund. Hall went back and got it to Nugent Hopkins and inside the line. Wideman hustles back after it. Nugent Hopkins knocked him off his skates. And now a penalty call is coming up, and it's going against the Calgary Flames. Some good hard work there by Nugent Hopkins, and it'll be the Oilers with the first power play of the night.
Well, the frustrating part when you play against a guy like Nugent Hopkins is you think you can overwhelm him physically, and here Wideman started this one. He has a chance to make a play. Nugent Hopkins gets underneath, knocks him down, and then stays with the puck. And Backlund here just loses positioning. Nugent Hopkins is going down, and that left arm was right on the shoulder when the arm went up.
Calgary Flames right now are the 6th most penalized team this season here in October, and the Oilers get the first power play. Here's Sekera. They go down low. McDavid calling back for it, and it goes back to Sekera. Near side for Yakupov. Yakupov across to McDavid, took a look, back to Sekera. Winds, down low and turned it over. Brody skates away, they got a 2-on-1 break. He's got Juris with him. Brody in, shoots, and it's deflected wide. And Brody races after that puck to push it back to Russell, who sends it right back in there.
That was one play there that Connor McDavid is thinking past the whole time, and Sekera was making a play that he set it up perfectly for a quick one-timer, and it almost ended up in the back of the net at the other end.
Center into the corner, Jordana was there, and Karam's in behind the net, and Benoit Pouliot is on it. Pouliot with that long reach. Back to Mark Letestu in front for Yakupov, and his one-timer went wide. Here's McDavid. To Pouliot out of the corner, back to Sekera. Off the boards comes McDavid, gives it back to Sekera. His blast deflects into the corner. In behind the net is Connor McDavid. McDavid to Letestu. Letestu in front. Ramo battling. Where's the puck? There it is, and Yakupov couldn't cash. Yakupov down low again. Gets it back. Weak shot in front. Trying to battle for a second attempt. They work it back to Sekera. Sekera's blast goes high and up and over the glove and cleared by Calgary.
Well, you can credit the captain, Mark Giordano, with saving a goal there. He was down on his back, but got a stick in the way. Stopped that one from going in an empty net.
Holden puts a bouncer in on Ramo as time expires. Still 19 seconds to go in the holding call against Backlund, but it is definitely the Flames up with a 2-goal lead. Well, coming up in our first intermission, a closer look at Connor McDavid and Sam Bennett. The score after one period is Calgary 3, the Oilers 1. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada.
Welcome back to Edmonton, and of course it is Halloween, in case you forgot, and a lot of creative costumes. Fans were told to wear their costumes or wear orange tonight to support the Edmonton Oilers, and there's Dougie Hamilton on the right as the Avenger, who asked 3 of his teammates to go to the Alberta Children's Hospital and dress up. Now, he's done this before. He's organized this before in Boston. There you can see him on the right. He was Elsa from Frozen. And then a baby. They visited the Boston Children's Hospital. And some really fun choices for a young character in Dougie Hamilton. But I have to say, Elsa has to be my favorite. Let's go upstairs to Craig Simpson and Dave Randor.
Neither of which dressed up. I thought you were going to dress up today.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get the memo. I didn't.
All right. Second period underway. 19 seconds to go in the penalty to Michael Backlund. And the Oilers send this puck into the Flame zone. Off the glass. Russell up the boards. Bounces right to Draisaitl. And Draisaitl back to the point, and that gets past everybody and down the ice. Backlund steps out of the box. Team's back at even strength. So the Calgary Flames enter the second period with a 2-goal lead. A second period that has been a disaster so far for them this season, being outscored 19-5. See if they can turn that around tonight.
Yeah, you wonder just the letdown. A lot of times you gather yourself after that first intermission, but that's perplexing for a coach. You want your team to come out with that energy in the second period. The long change makes it difficult. You have to make sure you don't get caught, but it's been their worst period.
Good pass up ahead. Here's Nugent Hopkins with a shot right on the mark, and Ramo covers up, and Ducks recover.
Well, there's a common theme in this game so far, and it's the turnovers that end up in the back of your net. And there's Gadstick that loses it, ends up with a deflection in front. Another chance where the goaltender Talbot has a chance to play it. He causes a turnover, and then a couple of chances along the wall. The battle's there. The opportunity is there to get out, and that makes it a 3-1 game, something Todd McClellan, I'm sure, didn't like from the first.
Darnell Nurse tried to center that puck. It's picked up by Colborne, skated all the way back down the ice. Down the left side, his snapshot wide of the mark. Oilers win the draw there and then find themselves right back in their zone. Here's Giordano into the middle of the ice for Sean Monahan. Monahan couldn't control it, and this one skips outside the blue line. Colborne back up ahead for Monahan. Monahan steps in, tries to feed it in front, was looking for David Jones. And the Oilers will take over. Andre Sekera now in his 9th year in the NHL, first in Edmonton. Gives it away, and Hamilton goes back across to Derek England. Long bank pass up ahead for Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau, sharp angle shot. Handled there by Talbot off his blocker. Bennett fighting for that puck down low. And it comes free for Edmonton. Up ahead, that is Iro Pakarinen. His pass across. Too hot to handle for Lander, and that is going to be blown down. Is the best way to the Dragons' wallet through their stomachs? Find out on an all-new Dragons Den, Wednesday at 8 on CBC.
Dave, there's 2 more examples. Sekera had a clear play to make up the ice, turned it over. Gaudreau got a good chance, and here another turnover creates an offensive icing play for Calgary.
However, it's the Oilers that control off that face-off, but they send it right back down the ice. Neither one of these teams come into the night dominant face-off teams.
No, and the one thing you have to do there is have a plan off of it. Darnell Nurse found himself with nowhere to go there, and at some point you're almost okay to take an icing call if you have no play and it ends up in the back of your net, but there's one where he came around the net and didn't see another sweater to give it to.
Anton Lander wins that draw, pulls it into the corner, puck is out in front, and it's swept to the sideboards. Here is Sekera again. Tries his luck getting the puck ahead to Purcell, picked up on the fly by Pakarinen. Pakarinen's shot, Ramos stops it. He's knocked into by Anton Lander, got tangled up and pushed out of his crease. No harm as Calgary comes back the other way. Juras in, and Talbot stands his ground. Good counterattack chance there for Josh Juras, who already has an assist tonight, but now he has taken a penalty. And it's going to be an Edmonton power play here in the second.
Well, here's a transition chance here by the Calgary Flames that they almost get in and get another goal as Eric Gryba has a bad read here. The neutral zone, you can't go chasing, and instead it comes back the other way. And this is one for Juras. He barely touched him. Slepyshev fell down, and there's an opportunity here. If I'm on the Oiler bench right now, and you can see the players on the ice, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Hall talking, this is a chance where you have to amp up your energy. You got a huge opportunity with a bad call to get yourself right back into the game.
It's been a hot power play of late. They've scored a power play goal in 6 of their last 7 games. They're 0 for 1 so far tonight. They control the puck off the draw. There's Hall, Klefbom on the drive, and that caught the post. Romo got a piece, and the post got the rest. Here's Hall again, cutting in, drops it off for Purcell. Purcell back to Klefbom. Klefbom in for Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins goes back to the line. Klefbom gets it across. That's Draisaitl. In for Purcell, down low to Taylor Hall. Teddy Purcell back to Hall. Hall taking a look around, tries to get it in front. It's between the pads. Nugent Hopkins goes jamming in there, and that's going to draw a crowd.
Well, some anxious moments in front of the Calgary net. One off of a bomb by Klefbom. He just walks in, backs himself, and finds the lane. And we've seen 2 deflections. Klefbom just watched it on the big screen, right through, off the body of Ramo, and then off the crossbar. And here, Hall just trying to force it to the front of the net. And much like we saw in the first period with the puck between the legs of Talbot, there's an excellent job of Ramo. You saw him squeeze his heels together. He felt it between his pads. A chance there for Nugent Hopkins to knock in a rebound, but Ramo able to hold on. And Dave, this is one of those anxious moments. You could feel it, you could see he gets his glove behind to make sure it doesn't pop up. but that's a hard play for the goaltender to keep his strength on his toes, to keep his legs from going back and into the net.
Ramo's last game in the NHL, October 20th, allowed 4 goals against on 18 shots against Washington and was put on waivers the next day.
And Dave, this is a chance for him to come out of here with a win, and I would bet you'll see him get the nod from Bob Hartley. Still uncertainty of how long Hiller's going to be out. He's been playing poorly. Ortio had another tough night, so it's wide open for him to take control of the crease.
Oilers step in, 1 minute gone in their power play. Pouliot back to Sekera. Sekera, Yakupov with a blast. Block gets it right back. Here's McDavid. Letestu in tight. Puck is loose. Scores! Benoit Pouliot.
There's an example. Bad penalty, good opportunity. You're right back in the game. A nice block, as you've seen from the Flames so many times. Giordano makes a good block against the play of Yakupov. Can't clear it down low. A no-look pass by McDavid. And this is a loose puck that's in play. And the one thing I always find with defense want to go after the body. Forwards go hunting after the puck. And Pouliot comes all the way around the net. He's got a body right in front of him, but he's first on the puck and lifts it with the backhand up and over a sprawling goaltender.
Benoit Pouliot with the goal. He's hot. That is his 99th career goal. Back-to-back games with a goal, and Connor McDavid is going to pick up an assist and extend his point streak to 8 games.
And Bob Hartley here is having a heated discussion. Does he want a challenge? And I'm not sure whether he's going to do. Yes, he is. He's going to challenge whether Ramo was interfered with on the play going to the net. That was a no-look pass by Connor McDavid. The shot came in. And this is a pretty key goal. Letestu's in front. Does he get contact? Maybe initial contact. Can Kari Ramo go across the crease? This is going to be a difficult one.
Challenge to determine if there was goal interference.
To me, watching that, it doesn't look like it. It's right on the top of the crease. You could see the referee behind the net pointing good goal. So the call on the ice is the critical one. They didn't feel it was, and it has to be pretty decisive to show that there was interference there.
There you see the coaching challenge criteria. There's only 2 things that can be challenged: whether or not there was goaltender interference or whether or not an offside play eventually led to a goal.
This is the complicated thing about this. I like the fact that you have a goal challenge for the coach. I think it's a worthwhile effort. It makes sense. We've seen some calls that should have been called off, called maybe a touch to the head there of Ramo. But in the summer, when they looked at a number of these scenarios, you had 5 different people look at the same thing, and you've got 3 thinking it's one way and 2 the other. I think that's the most difficult. Is that considered enough contact to take a goal off? And there's lots of debate here. Marty Jelena was talking for a minute. The only contact I see right there is the left hand to the forehead of Ramo.
And is it enough?
The official was in great position. Look at right behind the net as he comes in and he's pointing. And these are those moments that it almost would force a goaltender to initiate that contact and flop back and hope that you get a call. Ramo tried to stay with the puck and go across.
And the other point we should make here, as it's still early in the season, fans getting used to this, this is the call made by these guys right here.
Yes.
They're looking at a tablet down there. This is not like a review where they're getting the call made back in the control center in Toronto.
And it was Johnny Bear who's on the headset looking at, he was the one behind the net who made the call, and here's his review of the call.
After reviewing the play, there's contact with the original shooter in the blue. There's no goal.
What a smart play by Bob Hartley. They took their time. Marty Jelena talking with their video coach. I can tell you, Dave, in my days of playing in the Battle of Alberta on both fronts, that would have been a goal. But in today's NHL, that's a tough one, but an excellent play by the Calgary Flames. Todd McClellan can't be too happy because he's watched the same thing. And that sets an absolute standard that you better be sure you don't touch anybody on both sides, because there wasn't much, in my opinion, on that one.
So it stays a 2-goal lead for the Calgary Flames, and how huge will that be tonight as the Flames are desperate to get a win here and snap a 4-game losing streak?
Yeah, what a time to sacrifice your timeout. If that had been a call that went against Hartley, he loses it, but why not? This is a critical time where instead of 3-2 momentum for the Oilers, that's a really good read by the coach.
Power play still in effect as the Oilers gain the zone. Here's Pouliot. They move it across to Letestu. Out of the corner comes McDavid. Back up top to Sekera. Sekera snap shot. That goes just wide. 22 seconds to go, the man advantage. McDavid throws it back to Letestu. Watch the line, drops it back for McDavid. Got it into his skates. Colburn lost his stick. Back to the line and out. Near side of Yakupov. Fires it all the way around the boards. Puck is free for Monahan. Juris is out of the box. So the Flames win the challenge and kill the penalty. In the end, up ahead, here comes Taylor Hall. Hall's shot is right into the big C on Kari Ramo's jersey.
Well, that's something that if you're on the Oiler bench, you can't let it derail you. For Ramo, they said he did his best to try to get across on that. I would say, Dave, though, I would have about 100 less goals, I think, if that was the standard.
There's a lot of guys
of contact in front.
Jim Kerr, you know, all those power play goals he scored.
Mike Vernon would have been the one hitting me if it had been that scenario. But as I said, that's a good call by the coaching staff of the Calgary Flames to take that chance.
Up ahead for Gaudreau on the move. Here comes Johnny Hockey. Backhander off the blocker of Thomas. Shot at center, it can't. Jones in after it along with Sam Bennett. Back in for Gaudreau. Davidson down low, trying to defend, and that backhand feed goes in between the two defenders.
And Johnny Gaudreau took a slash to the hands there. That's part of the reason why that pass was an errant one, and he went off holding his left hand.
Shots are now 14 aside in a 3-1 Calgary Flames lead. All the goals coming in the first period. Centering attempt broken up by Anton Lander, who was back. Hamilton steps into his man. Back out at center, here is Juris. Juris turns it over, and the Oilers step in. Takarini leans into one, redirected just past the far post. All the way back out to center. Stagin. The veteran goes across to Hamilton. Hamilton up to Juris, who chops it in, and that line will change.
You heard on their microphones there just how much discussion there is between defense partners there. Nice job of verbalizing where the pressure was coming and getting out of the jam.
This one flipped out to center ice. Graba finds it and can't get it past Bolling. And that is going to be whistled out. Played with a high stick. So Johnny Gaudreau shaking it off over that Calgary bench. 3-1 Calgary.
It wouldn't be Halloween without a little gore, so beware of the photos that you're about to see. This is Matt Hendricks blocking a Dougie Hamilton shot. He hasn't played since that shot happened. It was October 17th after he took these photos, and he hasn't played since. It's amazing his ankle was not broken. He has been skating, but the toughest part has been the comfort inside the skate, as we show you a little bit more gore there. The key will be to allow the cut to heal 100%, guys, so that it doesn't get infected when he's able to come back to play, which he's hoping is next week.
Thanks, Cassie. She can only show that kind of report on Halloween.
That's a pressure wound if you've ever seen one. That's hard to stomach. But you see so often guys getting in the way of shots. That's all part and parcel of playing in the National Hockey League.
Hendricks, the real veteran presence they're missing right now. Rob Klinkhammer, Lori Korpikoski as well as a good hard veteran to play against. Out of the lineup right now with a concussion. They're hopeful to get Griffin and Reinhart back soon.
It'll be very interesting to watch how they deal with Darnell Nurse out of that. It is not always a great thing having 8 defensemen up. Some tough decisions to make on some veteran players.
And here is Darnell Nurse. Nurse, who was the 7th overall pick in 2013, flips the puck ahead. On the boards it goes, and Calgary's got it. Joe Colburn gets it up to TJ Brody. Cleft bomb. Pouliot can't find it, and Calgary steps back in, but they got to wait as Colburn was stuck inside the blue line. Now they send it in. Talbot out of his net. Quickly banked up ahead to Pouliot. Pouliot, who thought he had made it 3-2, but after a coach's challenge, it was ruled that there was some goaltender interference by Letestu, and it was taken off the board. So it's 3-1 here, nearing the midway point of the second period.
I think for both these teams, they've been looking for some secondary scoring. The Flames have been able to get it tonight, and the Oilers need somebody other than that Nugent Hopkins line or the McDavid line to get on the scoreboard.
Here's Gaudreau back out on the ice after taking a slash in his stick, but he got hit pretty good right there. Picks himself right up, gets back into the play.
Yeah, I was just going to say there wasn't a lot of energy in this game to that point, and that's something Taylor Hall tried to do there, and to his credit, Johnny Gaudreau took it well and then went right back at it.
Nugent Hopkins with a shot. Rebound was there for Draisaitl, and he couldn't get it in. Here's Davidson stepping up. Trying to step around Jones. Goes into the corner. Giordano meets it. Gives it up to Lander. Lander trying to get it away from Bennett. And Bennett has taken a penalty here. It's going to be a hook.
What a turn of events here. Another chance for the Oilers. Here's the energy that Hall tries to get. He has an opportunity to hit Gaudreau. Look at how quickly Gaudreau gets back up. Goes towards him. Nice defensive effort there by Wideman to maybe save a goal off of a rebound. And then a play where I thought for a second Anton Lander looked like he might have been the guy who grabbed. And somehow back the other way, it was Giordano who got the penalty. When the arm went up, I thought it was going to be Lander who was getting the penalty.
Or Bennett. They were both engaged, but it is Mark Giordano who is gone. Hooking is the call, so it's another power play for the Edmonton Oilers.
That's another one where Johnny Bear, who's way out the red line, takes a look at that and sees it differently than the official who is down in the zone.
Bottom line is man advantage for the Oilers. Their last power play looked pretty good. But they'll start by going to get this puck all the way down to their own end. Letestu to McDavid on the fly, right side. Connor McDavid steps in, rolls into the corner. Trying to get it past Brody. Good stick work there by Brody to get that puck loose. Yakupov lost control of the puck, and here's TJ Brody in short-handed. Snaps a shot, and Talbot makes the save and hangs on.
I think the two-referee system has obviously worked extremely well. It's such a tough game to watch as a single guy, but you can see the viewpoint here through the bodies. There's the arm going up, but what he doesn't see also is Lander inside getting it. After a chance at the blue line, TJ Brody wisely puts that one right on net. If he misses that and it goes out the other way, you've got two Calgary Flames caught. That's one that you're maybe glad you do get a face-off in the offensive zone, killing the penalty.
.40 seconds gone in this Oilers man advantage. Long pass up to the blue line. Now they're stepping in. Draisaitl back to Klefbom with a rocket wide of the net. Backed off the boards and cleared by the Flames.
Wide of the net with nobody in front. And that's one where you just got the setup. It was a long stretch pass, so the Oilers weren't quite in their setup. And nobody in the eyes of Kari Ramo there. Even if that had hit the net, that's a tough one to score.
Nugent Hopkins to Hall. Hall trying to get away from Monahan, throws the puck up the middle, and here's Joe Colburn trying to race away. Colburn in there, short-handed, just trickled past the far post. Good, strong rush by Jumbo Joe. Back up the ice come the Oilers. Here's Hall. Hall throws it across. Purcell. Davidson scores! Rocket shot top shelf, and there's going to be no chance there. 3-2.
Well, how many times do you see this in the game of hockey? A chance at one end. Colburn shows some great speed. He's deceptive, gets a good jump, takes a great angle in, and gets underneath. Klefbom, a huge save by Talbot, and then back the other way. Davidson's there for one thing, and that's the one-timer. A big, hard shot that he puts in a perfect place. You saw the bend of the stick there. He walked into a one-timer and beat it over the blocker of Kari Ramo. Ramo was in a good position, came out aggressively, but you can't ask for anything more. You come off the bench, you walk right into a one-timer, you've got a screen by Weidman, and that one was just perfectly placed.
24-year-old Brandon Davidson from Lethbridge, Alberta, now with goals in back-to-back games. And he buried that one. And on top of it, he will hang on. So now it is a one-goal game as Davidson has scored for the Oilers on Halloween. There's your goal scorers having a good week, Craig.
Well, what a way to solidify a place in the lineup. Here was Thursday, a huge comeback by the Oilers, spurred by this good hard shot on the power play, and then nothing better. Look at that stick as the torque of that just catapults it to the top corner. Seizing opportunity, a chance that a lot of people around the organization wondering whether Davidson would be in, how long he will stay here, but when you make some plays like that, it gives the coach some confidence and makes the decision tougher to send you down.
He did play 12 games with the Oilers last season as they were shuffling bodies in and out.
The wonderful world of waivers, though, right? When you can't send players down. Worried about them getting picked up.
Another assist for Hall there, so he's got an assist and a goal tonight. 2-point night for Taylor Hall, who's been piling up the points during his scoring streak, which is now up to 5 games. Here's Sam Bennett. Bennett trying to cut in, lost his footing, and the Oilers quickly turn it back up. At center ice is Letestu. He'll dump it in, and Ramo just flips this one all the way down the ice for icing. Take it back downstairs to Cassie.
Thanks, Dave. It's time for our Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. Phil Kessel returns to Toronto. No points, but Pittsburgh wins 4-0. Detroit at Ottawa. Kyle Turris is 100th NHL goal, but they lose 5-3 to Detroit. Winnipeg loses to Columbus. Now 3 wins under John Tortorella. And Minnesota loses to St. Louis. David Backes with the OT winner there. Dave?
Cassie. McDavid against his old buddy Sam Bennett. Here's Yakupov on that puck off the draw, out in front, turns and spins a shot back at Ramo, and he was ready for that. Fans in Edmonton have been waiting for Yakupov to really start showing his first overall pedigree. He had a good rookie season, but it's been slow ever since. Off to a good start this season. 8 minutes remaining here in the second period. Here's Dennis Weidman. With 15 goals last season from that back end. A very high-scoring blue line for the Calgary Flames. Here's Benoit Pouliot now on the loose puck. Into the skates of Connor McDavid, who makes it look easy. Here comes the kid, and he couldn't cut in. Still on the puck is McDavid back to the line. Davidson tees it up, and that's in the glove of Ramos.
Well, there are some players as rookies that really surprise you when you played against them the first time. I think early on, the book on Connor McDavid is watch the speed. From the skates to the stick, keeps his feet moving without stopping. He keeps the puck to the outside. That's a great adjustment by Weidman, using a veteran stick to get to the outside. But that is something that is so difficult to do, to keep those pistons moving while keeping your stick to the outside. He does it as well as anybody.
Top scoring rookie in the NHL coming into action tonight and tied for 5th in the entire league in points. Here's Juris trying to find that puck against Davidson, who hung with him and pushed it into the corner. Comes out in front, Frolik with a shot. What a stop there by Talbot on Michael Frolik. Great save. Across high slot, stage it into traffic, and Hall is there to sweep away that rebound. Here's Russell. All the way around the boards. Michael Frolik up there, comes to the near side. Ball rolls off a check. Here's Frolik again. Waiting for it is Dougie Hamilton. Hamilton back for Bollig, who's got one of the goals tonight for Calgary. Frolik has the other 2, almost had his 3rd.
Yeah, there's his first hat trick, was almost in the bag. And remember those 2 saves by Cam Talbot if the Oilers are able to stay in this game. The second period scoring troubles for Calgary continue. They've given up 20. They've only scored 5, but 2 excellent chances in tight. Good puck retrieval there, a battle down low. Stajan keeps it alive. And there's a nifty pad save, and right after that, another one by Stage and through a crowd. This is a tough one to find. That's just a solid positional save there by Talbot.
Anton Lander battling for that puck off the draw. Lander, who was kept way back in his minutes on Thursday night, just played 8 minutes as he found himself parked on the bench, getting another opportunity to get back in the lineup and battle tonight.
This is an important little pushback by the Flames here as the Edmonton Oilers get some momentum back in the building, get that power play goal, but for the last 3 shifts, it's been in the Oilers zone.
Letestu against Monahan. Controlled by Edmondson. Sekera. Far side, Purcell couldn't contain. Here's a chance. Monahan shoots, and blocking it was Sekera. Giordano straddles that blue line, kept it in, and they do so again. Weidman into the corner, and on it is Hudler. Jiri Hudler, the crafty bet. Walks out of the corner along the half boards, gets some support from Joe Colborne. He gives up the puck. Purcell chips it down the ice. There is Giordano back for it. Here comes the Calgary captain, straight up the middle. Snaps a shot. He's got a heavy release, but Talbot has it, and there's no rebound. The Battle of Alberta is a 1-goal game here at Rexall Place on Hockey Night in Canada. Happy Halloween from Rexall Place in Edmonton. Craig Simpson, your first time seeing McDavid live in the booth, and what do you think?
Well, I think when you look at McDavid and what he's able to do with open ice, it is quite incredible. The last game against the Calgary Flames, you see the open ice speed, gets up to 37 kilometers an hour, puts it in the back of the net. And the one thing he can do, and it was a great example of the last shift, is keep his feet moving from his skates to his stick, and he's able to keep the mind, the feet, and the hands all working in unison and not give up any speed. That is a very difficult thing to do, and he does it exceptionally well for an 18-year-old.
5.5 to go, second period. Here Graba gave it up there to Gaudreau, allowing the Flames to reset at the backside. Russell comes back up the boards. Bennett can't chip it past Graba, and we got another penalty call coming up.
It's a high stick by Graba, just going after the bouncing puck and right into the face of Bennett. So much like we talked about opportunity when the Oilers had their back-to-back power plays, puck has already gone by the errant stick right off the visor of Bennett. And you look here for Calgary to really amp up their energy. This is a great opportunity to wrestle this game back.
Their power play has been cold of late. 0 for 3 last night, 1 for 17 in their last 6 games. But they're up against the penalty killing unit. It's been giving up a bunch of power play goals of late,
far too much. This has only been 50% in their last 4 games for the Edmonton Oilers. But it's when you have to kill one that you need it. Same as a power play. Forget about the percentages. It's the timing. When you need the goal to put a game away, can you do it? Even if it's your 6th or 7th chance, you got to score then.
Or if you need a kill to keep it a game. So big moment here in the late stages of this second period. Up the boards. Lander trying to find it, chops at it, comes up in the air and outside. Here's Giordano. They'll turn and they'll head back up. Across to Weidman. Weidman flips it to open ice, racing after it is Hudler. First man of the puck is Davidson. Comes free for Nugent Hopkins. They'll give it up to Benoit Pouliot. Pouliot into the middle. They'll step in. He hit for the front of the net. And Klefbom just flicks it in behind the Flames goal.
That's one way to stop a power play. They did a pretty good job being aggressive at the line, getting back quickly and not turning the puck over.
Jones takes that pass in stride, races up the wing, long-range shot, handled easily there by Talbot.
This is something you try to teach defensemen, is to have a quick shoulder check. And Davidson does a great job here. Watch the head turn. Just seeing where the pressure is coming from, seeing where he's got some support. Gets a little bit of a break there, but that was a good read. And for a young defenseman, that's called progress. It's what you try to teach them each time in practice.
Scramble off the draw, out in front of the net and pushed away by McDavid. Over minute gone in this power play for the Flames. Their first of the night. Gaudreau on his horse, puts the pass ahead, racing in there is Jones. Sekera meets him behind the Oilers' net. Lander after it. So is Sam Bennett. And it bounces near side. It's going to stay inside the line. Hamilton rings it around the boards again. Comes free. Here's a chance, and then hops over the stick of Hamilton. They keep the pressure on, though, and behind the goal, centered out in front. Here's a chance for Brody. Scores! T.J. Brody off a great feed from behind the net. And it's a power play goal, and the Flames have their 2-goal lead right back.
Dave, I was just going to say how frustrating it is on a power play when you're chasing it around the boards. And there was 3 or 4 times that the Flames are wrapping it around. And you can't get your setup, you can't get into position, but finally they maintain control. The Oilers are a little bit tired at this time, a little bit late getting there, and a great no-look pass by Bennett. And much like the Davidson shot, this is just a perfect rocket. Now, I'm sure Todd McClellan looking here, is there any contact after we looked at the goal that was disallowed? Talbot's coming out. Looks like Bennett's far enough outside the blue, but what a great shot by Brody. Put it in the only place that the goaltender couldn't get to.
And for the 3rd time tonight, Calgary has a 2-goal lead. Bennett and Hamilton will draw the assists on T.J. Brody's first goal of the season.
There's an example. You get a bit of a bad penalty by Greiba, and you take advantage of it. Those ones you really want to make your opponent pay, and the Flames are able to.
Here's Nugent Hopkins. Wheeling it back into the corner for Draisaitl. Back to Nugent Hopkins, working against Brody, who wins that battle and can't get it past Klefbom. Nifty little move. They're stepping in, trying to center it for Hall, and down but not out was Chris Russell to break that up.
Well, that's a split-second decision for Klefbom there to stay in. If he misses that one, this game might really be over, but instead the Oilers get a good chance.
Shots at 22-17 in favor of the Flames. And they have scored 4 goals tonight. Team that came in averaging 2 a game. Back of the net goes Davidson. Davidson has got one of the goals tonight for the Oilers. Left side now into the middle. Here's Letestu. Letestu's long-range shot kicked aside by Rommel. Slepicek. Had that puck go past him, chipped off the boards hard by Frolik. And back into the Oilers zone. Picked up by Darnell Nurse. Up for McDavid. McDavid quickly pivots and carries it in. Drops it off, looking for Neil Yakupov. Yakupov after that loose puck, tries to snap it towards the net. McDavid on it, throws it back to the line, and that is tipped past Nurse, who has to retreat. Bollig applying all kinds of pressure on that forecheck. Got a piece of Sekera as well. Here's Nurse. Sekera, long bang pass up ahead, just inside the line. Picked up there by Brody. Brody goes across to Russell. Russell sends it right back into the Oilers zone. Talbot rings it around the glass, knocked down by Hudler. Back to the net is Colborne.
Last minute of play.
Final minute, second period. 2 goals in this middle stanza so far. One by the Oilers and one by the Flames. Here's McDavid now stepping in. McDavid trying to center, but he's drawn a penalty. It's a holding call against the Flames on that drive by Connor McDavid. Well, don't miss a new episode of the critically acclaimed spy thriller, The Romeo Section, Wednesday at 9 on CBC.
Another example of that speed and being able to put the puck into places where the defenseman can't get it. But watch, the feet are moving, the speed is continuing on, and Captain Mark Giordano, unable to get body position, went after the puck twice and missed it, and then forced to take a penalty.
So now Hartley watches on as he needs a kill from his penalty killing unit, and this is a good start. A face-off win, a hard rim around the boards by Brody, and down the ice, just like that. Teddy Purcell drops it back into the corner for Oscar Klefbom. Klefbom heads up. He'll drop it off for Purcell. Purcell steps in and turns it over off the shin pads of Stajan. 20 seconds to go, and Hall's going to step in, drops it off, and gets a return feed. Trying to go back to the line. Here's Draisaitl to Klefbom to Nugent-Hopkins. His shot rebound was almost there for Purcell. Final seconds now, cleared back outside the line. And the Oilers are going to run out of time here with just half a second remaining in the period, but it's still 1:12 in the power play.
Well, this is one of those plays for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that he's looking for options. He's not going to score typically from that area, and he waited long enough for Taylor Hall to come in and maybe try to get a tip on it. I know visually you come in, you're sliding backwards, you know you're not going to be able to get a one-timer or a hard shot, and against an NHL goaltender, tough to score from that spot.
That's it. Final half a second comes off the board, and that will do it. The Oilers will still have a power play in effect when the third period starts. Well, coming up at the second intermission, inside the game with George and Nick and Kelly and Elliott. The score after 2 periods, Calgary with a 2-goal lead, 4-2 on Hockey Nights in Canada. Welcome back on Halloween. It's the only game in town remaining on the Saturday night schedule. It's 4-2 Calgary as we're all set to begin the third period here at Rexall Place. And I've seen some wacky Halloween costumes tonight, but how about Phil Pritchard, the keeper of the cup? Phil, there's somebody walking around Edmonton tonight dressed up as you. So here we go. The Oilers still have a minute to go in a power play with Mark Giordano still in the box. Chance to get back to within 1. Straight up the middle of the ice here is Nugent-Hopkins, throws it aside to Taylor Hall. Hall tried to go back to the point. Oscar Klefbom has it. In tight quarters is Nugent-Hopkins. Back in for Hall, back to the Nuge, who leads everybody with 5 shots on net so far through 40 minutes. Here's Purcell. Purcell high slot. Draisaitl back to Nugent-Hopkins in front. Here's Purcell. Scores! And the Oilers power play strikes again.
Well, that's one way to get some energy back in this building, and this is a bit of a pedestrian penalty kill. The passing lanes are open. One chance through the seam, another one across, and a bit of a bad break right off the heel of Russell's skate. And you see the reaction of Ramo. The puck is going through, goes off the skate, and right over to Purcell, who gets it from his backhand to forehand quickly and makes sure he beats a sprawling Ramo, who tried to get across with that right toe and just barely missed that puck.
Teddy Purcell with his second of the season. Nugent-Hopkins and Draisaitl are going to get the assists, and it's a 1-goal game again.
And boy, what a mistake here is Connor McDavid going after the puck right as they're announcing the goal. As the Oilers get back in the game, it's right back to the opportunity for the Calgary power play to get the 2-goal lead back. Neutral zone going after the puck. Monahan in position. Stick up, and there's right around the hands. And the call was made immediately, and what a chance here for Calgary to wrestle the momentum back.
Oscar Klefbom off the boards, and the Flames battling to keep this puck in, and they do. Throw it across to open ice. Here's Giordano. Giordano stepping in, feathers it in front, and it's swatted away by Davidson to the line and out. Big penalty kill here for the Oilers, and a huge opportunity for the Flames to retake a 2-goal lead. Here's Hudler. Harry Hudler to the corner to Monahan up top. Here's Giordano with a blast. A high scorcher that goes up and over the net. Monahan pulls it off the boards. To Giordano. Sean Monahan curling in front, parked right on the doorstep is Colborne, and Talbot holds his ground.
That one had a chance of going in there as Colborne was trying to grab it from his forehand take it over across from his backhand to forehand. Watch, he goes to grab it, he misses it. Talbot anticipates this move. He's going to grab it on his forehand, take it across, and it almost sneaks underneath the pad of Talbot. Talbot felt it and was able to keep that left pad down as Colburn tried to get a piece of it between the pad and the net.
1:09 to go in the power play. Bennett in to take this draw against Anton Lander. Wins it cleanly. Brody at the line. Had it roll off his stick and it's sent down the ice. Here's T.J. Brody now after that foot race. Gains possession of the puck and then gives it up to David Jones. Jones up to Hamilton. Hamilton in towards the net. One comes out high, and finishing the job there was Nugent Hopkins. After the first effort there by Sekera.
You see some really quick changes by the penalty kill, too. They don't want to get trapped out there with fatigue.
Half a minute to go in the penalty kill. Bennett curls around. Sam Bennett makes the move and gains the zone. That pass attempt across goes off a skate all the way down the ice. Off the ice comes Giordano. Drops it off for Hudler. He'll go into the attack. Yuri Hudler, 1-on-2. Puck rolls it on Talbot, and he dives on it to hang on. With Yuri Hudler almost splitting the D.
You know, there are times you get frustrated and you get over anxious and you just try to do it yourself. You look at the numbers here. There's only 4 Oilers on the ice, and Yuri Hudler tries a 1-on-4. And he almost bull rushed his way into the net, but that's one that you got to take the open ice and try to get the setup there. They do get a face-off to try to win and get the setup back.
Final seconds of the power play as Connor McDavid steps out of the box. So they've killed it off. And now he's got the puck. McDavid in, across, and that pass was just out of the reach of Letestu. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Down low for Letestu. Banks it off the board. It's going to be held by Klefbom. Klefbom sends it back in, goes off the referee, and right to the Calgary Flames. Letestu back for Nugent Hopkins. Gets it to grab out in front again for Draisaitl. Looking for a tip. Quickly up off the boards. Draisaitl has it bounce away. Russell puts it back down the ice. And this is icing against the Flames.
Well, there's a quick play by McDavid to strip the puck off of Giordano. Right in the neutral zone, the puck's free for a split second. Giordano goes back to get it. Didn't see that McDavid had got behind him. And this is one that Letestu just didn't read. He didn't get in there with a real hard stick, go to the far post. You know that McDavid's going to try to find you. He delays long enough, throws it across. But a very hesitant Letestu missed on the open net.
That played with an Oiler high stick, so that faceoff comes outside the blue line. If you look at this Calgary Flames bench, Craig, they have not won a game in 8 days.
You see the conversation there. Giordano said, he lifted my stick, I didn't see him. That pair has had a real good challenge going up head-to-head against them, as they do against all the good players in the league.
Staging. Trying a quick pass up ahead. Here's Juris following up. Wrist shot blocking aside by Talbot. Passed way out. Staging keeps it in. Throws it back into the corner. Barons pushed it up the boards. Here's Juris again. He ran into the Oilers D and it was broken up. Swept back in by Josh Juris. Taylor Hall cuts back. Throws it into the middle for Nugent Hopkins. Dumps it into the corner. Ramo comes out of his net. Hall almost stepped aside around his man, but it comes back out to center. Here's Leon Draisaitl. Hall off the sideboards, gathered in by Mason Raymond. He sees open ice near side and fires it back in there. Talbot comes out of his net. Here's Boley back towards the goal. Going to be met at the far point. Back up for Michael Backlund. Backlund is up high and can't get it in deep, and that flip back out to center. Hall trying to get away from Giordano. Those two jostle. And following up is Johnny Gaudreau. Off the leg of Pakarinen and back deep inside the Flame zone.
See if Giordano and his partner change here with the Lander line on.
And here is Lander. He shoots, and Giordano got his stick on that. And it goes up and out of play.
You know, for Bob Hartley trying to make the matchups, well, here's why. Connor McDavid, an opportunity with that disallowed goal. He did have a streak that got up to 8 games, but now it continues back at 7. Sam Gagner had a magical run in his rookie season in 2007 to go 9 games.
Right now, the longest streak in the NHL is 9 games by David Krejci, which ended tonight. Purcell waits for that puck along the sideboards, and here is Oscar Klefbom with the outlet pass. Feathered ahead, racing after it is Anton Lander. Pakarinen got by him as well. Calgary trying to force it out, and they almost do. Klefbom. Up ahead to Lander, who flips it in. Here's Dougie Hamilton, the former Boston Bruin, in his first season as a Calgary Flame. Long pass down the ice, tipped in by David Jones. Talbot came out of his net. That cost him one earlier in the first period. Here's Brody with a wrist shot. Scores! And that is waved off right away.
Sam Bennett right on the doorstep there, and Jean-Hubert, he was behind the net on the disallowed goal by review. This one emphatically waved off right as it happens. Watch at the bottom of your screen. It was Jones rather in position. I thought it was Bennett coming down. And you could see the contact there. The argument was that it was Ference who knocked him in there, but that's one where Talbot is clearly inside his blue, and I don't think there's any question this one's coming back. David Jones, who's had some success.
No penalty, face-off outside, contact with the goalie in the blue paint.
And that's a good call, no penalty. If that's one where Jones, Dave, goes in on his own, he's probably sitting for 2 minutes and the Oilers get a power play. There was contact with Ference, but I think that's one that you're going to have to battle away from.
Bob Hartley calls a timeout.
He wants to look at it more.
There was no goaltender interference on this.
So he's going to challenge again.
Okay, here we go again. The guys in studio were talking about the last one. I tend to agree with them that it's such inconsequential. This is one that the goaltender is inside his paint, and it's not a pushing motion by Ference. That's one where you've got to get out of the way. If Talbot's outside of the blue paint there, I don't think there's any question. I was wrong the last time, but I'd be shocked if this one ends up being a goal. You got to give the goaltender that room to make the save. What a play again by Brody, who was in there, and another quick wrister that has given the Oilers fits all night. And the reason why he has another coach's challenge is because he was successful on the first one. Had he lost the first one, he not only wouldn't have a timeout, but Bob Hartley wouldn't have another challenge.
Just one per game, and he challenged earlier in a game against Winnipeg and lost. One tonight in the second period. On the goal, the Oilers thought they had scored, and this is now a goal for his team that he hopes will be going up onto the board.
And you can see Jean-Hubert just immediately waving this off. My concern, whatever team you're cheering for, I mean, I look at this scenario and it is such a judgment call. That last one, you heard Kelly Hrudey say, didn't feel that it affected the goaltender's ability to make the save. I personally thought that one did affect the ability for Talbot to make the save.
After review, the call on the ice stand, no goal. Calgary is charged with their timeout.
So in a tight game, 13:45 to go, and Calgary no longer has a timeout, and it remains a one-goal game at Rexall on Hockey Night in Canada. Go back to Rexall. Let's look at the Oilers bench. It's been an interesting night if you are a fan of this whole coach's challenge and how it is working so far in this early part of the season.
Well, Bob Hartley's batting .500 as we use the World Series analogy here. This was a key play where it was a 3-1 game that could have easily been 3-2 no goal on that one. Great move by Hartley. This is another one with Jones on the doorstep. The argument by Hartley was that he was pushed in there. The call was immediate on the ice, and that one was no goal. David Jones in front of the net had a couple goals the last game, so he was on the doorstep. And you just know that down the stretch here, both coaches really working their bench. Don't you feel that there's short shifts on both sides? Calgary, having played last night, trying to keep their energy up. And given their third period problems, outscored 19-8. They need a goal badly.
Second and third periods have not been kind to the Calgary Flames so far this season.
Think of last year, too. They were the comeback kids. They had 48 points of their 97 came when they were tied or behind going into the third period. That's a remarkable stat.
They were also dominant against Pacific Division opponents. They had the best record, interdivision record of anybody in the West. So far, they're 1-2. They're trying to steer this one home to get their third win of the season. Centering pass ends up on the stick of Draisaitl. Draisaitl to Hall, who's on the fly. Right side, Taylor Hall inside it there. Scores! Leon Draisaitl has scored again, and it's a tie game.
Okay, this will drive Bob Hartley crazy. You got complete control, and it's a blind pass, a hope pass through the middle, creates a 3-on-2. The cross seam is opened up, and Draisaitl, the hero against Montreal, with a pair of goals in the winner. Taylor Hall with his head up the entire time. A saucer pass, tape to tape, and absolutely no chance for Ramo to get that right leg across. Go to the net, stick on the ice, a hard low hand, and it's in the back of the net to tie the game.
Calgary has had 3 2-goal leads in this game, and they're all gone. It's a 4-4 hockey game here in Edmonton.
And how about Leon Draisaitl? So much talk about him getting sent down at the beginning of the year. Here, gets on his horse, gives the pass up, and then drives through. A little crisscross that opens up the seam for the last second, and that's a goal scorer's goal. Taylor Hall was thinking past the whole time. That no hesitation is why Ramo didn't have time to get across. If he holds that for a split second, I think Ramo might get there and make the save.
And it is a 3-point night for both Draisaitl and Hall. They both have a goal and 2 assists. And we haven't even heard from this kid yet. Connor McDavid drops it off to Pouliot, kicked aside by Ramo. Here's Yakupov out of the corner. Oilers starting to feel it now. Pouliot in front for McDavid, and he couldn't tap it in. Sam Bennett was in his back pocket, and he's got the puck now. Here comes Bennett. Drops it off and throws it towards the net, and Talbot will stop it and hang on. Steve Patterson guest stars of the all-new Canada's Smartest Person with host Jesse Cruikshank. That's tomorrow at 8 on CBC.
Cassie featured the former teammates in minor hockey and the guys who've gone head-to-head in the Ontario League. Here's another chance here for the game. Go-ahead goal, and Sam Bennett reads it perfectly, gets a hard stick on McDavid, and doesn't allow him to get a tap in there. Nice play defensively.
Race for that puck along the side, boys. Hamilton's in there. Sent back around the other side, and Greiba's got some room to move it. Off a stanchion, bounces right to the Oilers. Shot is blocked, goes into the corner. As Letestu still battling for it, keeps it deep, throws it back in there. Out of the corner comes Purcell. Up high, Letestu with a drive. Just past the glove stop of Ramo. Here's Derek Englund now. Lead pass for Juris, missed the mark and sent back inside the blue line. Oilers clear the zone, then shovel it back in. Englund slowly out of his own zone, gets the return feed, throws it up the ice, and now they turn it over again. Here they come. It's Hall with Draisaitl. That shot is deflected up and out of play.
Now you got to be careful who's on the ice, and right now the most dangerous line for the Edmonton Oilers is this one. Protecting the puck. There's an errant pass by Englund. That's, again, a turnover. but he does a nice job of getting a stick in the way as Hall didn't feel he could beat him to the outside, cut to the middle as Draisaitl tried to set a pick, and that one a frustrated Hall as he couldn't get the puck to the net.
Face-off win by the Oilers. Sekera gets it to Hall in the corner against Backlund. Russell hustles after it. Nugent Hopkins gave him a shove. The Calgary Flames have now allowed 4 goals or more in 5 straight games, and 9 of their 12 this year. It is just killing them. Sekera carries in, throws it towards the net. Ramo steers it into the corner. Here's Raymond. Near side, Brody drops it off for Backlund. Backlund shot up high. On top, it goes into the corner. Nugent Hopkins settling things down, carries it out from behind his own net. Off the right side, boards. Falls up, overskates the puck. Now it's a chance for Calgary. Stepping back in. In the high slot was Gaudreau. But there is Nugent Hopkins again. Loose puck for Pouliot. Pouliot with that power stride, looking for that puck.
And Monahan, Gaudreau, and Hubler back together again. Bob Hartley talking about eventually you'll see them back again. Well, here, seeing the lead evaporate, there's your first look at it.
It's the go-to line all last season when they needed a big goal, and this is go-to time now for Calgary. Davidson. He's going to leave it for Klefbom. Past the midway point of the third period, we're all tied up in Edmonton. As Yakupov winds it up down the right side. Still with the puck. Yakupov all the way in there, can't center it. And Russell quiets things down, puts it up the boards, over the stick of Graba. He's got to hustle because Colborne's in his rear view. Barrett's off the boards, but not past Juris. Juris steps around him. Josh Juris still with it. Winding, centers it. Philippe shoots. Talbot down. Loose puck. Oh, with a stick. Graba got in the lane and prevented a goal. What a chance there for the Flames, and Eric Graba kept it out.
Pure stick on stick there. The wide open net as Talbot was off to his right. Another turnover creates that chance. Both these coaches will be dreading the turnovers that have ended up in the back of the net.
Giordano out to Bowling. He'll send it in. Talbot will stop it up and leave it for Eric Graba. Here's Hall now. Hall gathering speed to the neutral zone. He'll step in. Now that right side that he loves. Cuts back. Has the puck taken away momentarily. Goes into the corner. Bowling. Just enough to get it back out to center ice. Andre Sekera. To the red stripe, fires it in. Yakupov almost first to the puck, taken away by Wideman. This one bounces out to center. Monahan stripped by McDavid. Here's Dennis Wideman now. And the veteran blue line is going to just feed this one in on Talbot. Oilers take over, quickly get it right back out. Yakupov in and then heads to the bench for a change. McDavid pulls that one off the boards, gets it to Pouliot. Gets it back in behind the net. Here's McDavid. Rolls away from him. Gaudreau into center. Klefbom stood up. And now it's Gaudreau. No daylight for him, so he throws it back for Chris Russell. Russell over to Brody. Tipped in by Jones. Talbot carefully watching that one as it goes into the corner. Davidson takes a look as 2 Flames converge on either side. One of them is Bennett. Bennett trying to get away from the check down low from Lander. Gets a little help. Now it's Bennett with a little more room to operate. Banks it back for Colborne. Colborne working against Klefbom. As the Flames grind away here. Walk it out of the corner. Still Colborne. Back to Hamilton, and finally they lost possession. Quick change time for both teams. Up the the boards it goes. Ferentz stood up, and this one has drifted back out and over the stick. Now Gryba. Flames complete a change on the fly. Ferentz up ahead to Hall. Hall saw Stajan coming, shovels it in, and Brodie gets to it. TJ Brodie trying to dance away from Nugent Hopkins. Hall is there. Pressures Russell. He moves the puck. Here's Gryba. Rolls, shoots, and that is blocked right in front. Calgary picks up the puck and skates it up. It's Frolik who's got 2 goals tonight. Frolik to the net. Stajan was there, and Frolik's got it again. Talbot kicks that shot aside. Wideman way up in the play, deep in the corner. Feeds it down low for Michael Frolik. Spins it back. Mid of the point, across they go to Dennis Wideman. Wideman takes a look, throws it back across to the captain. Giordano's wrist shot, tipped it away by, and Cam Talbot makes the save. The Battle of Alberta's going down the stretch this Saturday night. We're all tied up on Hockey Night in Canada.
The Edmonton Oilers giving their fans something to cheer about, and so too will their new Rogers Place Arena, expected to be ready for the start of next season. 500 people per day working on the 100,000 square foot facility. The arena will be able to accommodate change and other sources of entertainment, and a live shot today from 4:35 local. So the progress you can see, it's happening here in Edmonton. Dave?
This is the final season, Cassie, of this old barn that's seen a lot of great memories over the years. See if they make another one here tonight. 5.5 to go. Tie game. 2 goals in the third period by the Edmonton Oilers. As the puck is sent in, Monahan just 1 beat late. Here's Yakupov in traffic, makes a move, got it to Davidson, who almost had his pocket picked there by Gaudreau. Here's Giordano, over to Wideman. Up to Gaudreau. And back across to Giordano. He'll bank it ahead. Jones tips it in. Sam Bennett comes racing in there. Bennett, who's really had a strong week of play here for the Calgary Flames. On the score sheet here again tonight with another assist. Just inside the Calgary blue line. Oilers have to clear. Here's Bennett. Forced back again by that Oilers forecheck. Barreling in there is Pakarinen. Gave Wideman a hit. Up ahead for Juris. Juris into traffic. Lander picks his pocket. Lander inside the line. And Timothy White jerseys all around it.
If you're looking for an advantage, it should be the way of the Oilers from a rest standpoint is a big hit by Gryba.
That was Gryba just barreling over Josh Juris. And that is offside of the blue line. Well, it's certainly starting to feel like the Battle of Alberta now. 4-4. Well, Eric Gryba in his first year in Edmonton, having quite a third period here.
And meet Josh Juris. Here's Gryba's back-to-back shifts here. A play at the net, a wide-open net for Josh Juris coming in. Eric Gryba gets the stick in there quickly. Save a goal that might save a game, and then Juris trying to sneak to the outside, and the one thing Gryba can bring is a physical play, and there's a great example of it. Here's that Hudler Monahan Gaudreau line once again. I don't blame Bob Hartley here. Try to get some magic out of that line.
Quickly up ahead to Russell. Russell wide side, wrist shot up and over the shoulder of Talbot. On the near boards was pinned by Monahan. Klefbom digs it out, and the Oilers are at center. Taylor Hall now with 2 goals and 4 assists in the 2 games so far this year against Calgary. Jones tips it in. Set for a first to the puck. McDavid helps it up there, and here comes Yakupov. He's got Pouliot with him. Yakupov steps in, and he was behind Pouliot, and it's offside. Well, only 2 episodes left. Don't miss Keeping Canada Alive, a day in the life of Canada's healthcare system. Tomorrow at 9 on CBC. Here in Edmonton, the Calgary Flames They're trying to stay alive in their division. They need a win tonight.
It's the pullback move at the blue line. That was awfully close, but one that there were too many moves there for Nail Yakupov.
Penalty call coming up here. And it's going against the Oilers. So the Flames, with 3:07 remaining in regulation, get a crucial power play with Pouliot gone to the box.
And the one thing that has plagued Benoit Pouliot over his career is penalties 200 feet from the net. And there's one that Weidman's making the play at the puck, and the stick did go underneath the right skate. And the official was right on top of it. I can understand the argument of the call, but that went right underneath the blade, and what a chance here for the Calgary Flames.
A power play that is 1 for 2 tonight. They control it right off the draw. Weidman gives it to Gaudreau. Gaudreau dancing in. Angled off by Davidson. Peels back. Goes back to Weidman. Across to Giordano. Giordano in. Little tip by Monahan. Puck is loose. Bang it away. And it goes in behind the net. Frantic action in front of that Oiler goal, and it is cleared.
Hey, that was a case of too many bodies in front. The Flames attacked the net, and there was no chance for that puck to make it through all the legs.
Off the dashers. Met by Greiba. Up the boards. Weidman to Giordano. His wrist shot looking for a tip in front. Hudler was right there. Jiri Hudler. Squeezed off the puck there by Greiba. Trying to stay with it is Hudler. Here he is. Jiri Hudler now back in the net. Greiba battling with him, but he got it back to Gaudreau. Gaudreau has Monahan in front, banks it back to Giordano. Johnny Gaudreau now. A minute down to the power play. Gaudreau still with it, trying to dance in, lost it, and it is dumped down the ice again by the Oilers.
Great stick by Oscar Klefbom there. Gaudreau's just trying to buy himself some time, look for a passing lane, and that was a good active stick to knock the puck away.
Wholesale change for the Flames with 37 seconds to go. The power play, and they're offside.
Pretty common theme when you get down to the nail-biting end of the game is put bodies in front, and you could see the whack and hack of Monahan trying to get it through his own player, Hudler, and then Giordano with one good chance on his knees and another one that almost went top shelf. That's a heck of a play. Here's what I talk about good sticks, and that's something the Oilers have tried to improve on as a team. Klefbom with a nice job against a great player in Johnny Gaudreau.
Colburn's in the corner. Jones is up there as well. And it's back for Brody. Brody to Sam Bennett. Connor McDavid, his old buddy, took the puck away, and they're going to race away, short-handed. McDavid in front looking for Lander, and there's Bennett again. Bennett straight back up the ice. Little game within the game there. Bennett and McDavid. They killed it off. Power play is over. Calgary with just one shot with that man advantage, and there's 1 minute to go in the third period. Round the boards. Monahan missed it, and here comes Hall again. Hall with a three-point night on the go. Taylor Hall all the way to the corner. Could not cut around Giordano. Pass right onto the tape for Sean Monahan. Monahan gets it deep and then gets off. Here's Klefbom. Across to Davidson. Davidson trying to step around Juris. And the Oilers put it in. Under 30 seconds to go. Here's Brody. This one goes all the way down the ice. And it's met by Stajan because it came hard around the boards to avoid an icing. They center it, and that's in! That is in! Out of the corner! Michael Frolik with a hat-trick goal! The most improbable of shots squeezes past Talbot, and it's 5-4 Calgary with 8.7 on the clock.
Well, if you're looking for a play to turn your season around, the Calgary Flames may have just got it off the stick of Frolik, but it's about an icing. Look at the arm up here. You be the judge. Is this icing? Oh, a heads-up play by Stajan to get in there. The icing was waved off, and from behind the line, this is a goal that just cannot go in. What plagued the Edmonton Oilers last year, look at that little window of light that Frolik was able to find underneath the knee and the pad off the left leg and in the back of the net. An absolute killer. You cannot let in. 3 feet behind the goal line, and the hat-trick goal by Frolik might be one that turns the tide for the Calgary Flames.
First career hat trick for Frolik. What a sequence of events as Edmonton calls a timeout to drop a play here with 8.7 on the clock.
Here's what was in question on the icing. You be the judge here. The arm goes up for potential icing because he wasn't able to hold it on. The arm's up, but the race by stage, and that's another judgment call. It's a wraparound there. The Oiler player had inside positioning at the dot, but because the puck was around, obviously the call was made. Now that is not a coach's reviewable play, so Todd McClellan can't go after that one.
Quickly downstairs to Cassie.
Thanks, Dave. We got to sneak in a Budweiser red light scoreboard. Marc-Andre Fleury, 16 saves for the shutout in Toronto. Dylan Larkin, the winner in Detroit as they beat Ottawa. And I lied earlier, Winnipeg, you won in Columbus. So no win for Torts at home. And Blake Wheeler with 2 points in that one, Dave.
Thank you, Cassie. Oilers send it in, and they are going to run out of time. Last shot is after the whistle, and Chris Russell was actually hit with a hard shot there, and he's slow to get up. But I think this one will feel okay because the Calgary Flames get a much, much needed win.
Was that an understatement? And Barry Ramo had his moments, but able to hang in there in the onslaught of the third period. And what a fluky goal. Another great example. Look at the Calgary goals in this game. A couple deflections, a couple of miscues behind the net by Talbot. And then at the end, you never know if it's close to when the buzzer's going, and the 2 fours were in front of the Calgary net, and Russell, as he's done so often, jumping in front of that one and stopping it.
So it's their 3rd win of the season, and they will get out of Edmonton and take those 2 points for a couple of games coming up at home. Here are your 3 stars. Michael Frolik, of course, with his first career hat trick. Another big night for Taylor Hall against the Calgary Flames, a goal and 2 assists. And TJ Brodie in just his 3rd game back with Calgary this season, making immediate impacts. What a night in Edmonton. Lots to talk about for George and the panel, who are back right after this break on Hockey Night in Canada.